Are you truly free? Welcome back, friends. Let's talk about freedom. The world shouts about it, saying, do what you want. Live your truth. No one tells you what to do. Now, that kind of freedom sounds good at first glance. But is it real freedom, or just an exciting form of slavery? What if everything our culture tells us about freedom is actually backwards? What if the very things that we think are liberating us are actually just chains in disguise, while the things that seem to restrict and restrain us are actually the keys to real freedom? How is it that if the world says freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want, with no rules and no boundaries, then why is it that that kind of so-called freedom often leads to addictions, emptiness, and sorrowful regrets later on? Think about it. Someone who feels that they are free to seek a lifestyle of pleasure ends up being enslaved to lust, greed, or substance abuse. The Bible rightly explains it in 2 Peter 2, verse 19, by saying, people are slaves to whatever has mastered them. Needless to say, that's not freedom. Jesus also spoke about this when he said in John 8, verse 34, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. Think about that. Do you find yourself giving in to every impulse and following after every desire that comes to your mind? Are you honestly able to say no to that extra drink, or no to overusing your credit card? Or do you find yourself endlessly and pointlessly scrolling through social media? You see, there are many ways that we can be in bondage and don't even realize it. We are like a beautiful, colorful bird in a bird cage, okay? It is free to do whatever it wants to do inside that cage. But the sad reality is, it is still in a cage and doesn't even realize it. But now, let's look at biblical freedom. This freedom is radically different. It's the freedom that comes from knowing who you are, whose you are, and what you're created for. It means being set free from the ongoing, exhausting slavery of being obsessed with ourselves. Jesus is the perfect model of what it means to live a life of true freedom. He was the freest person who ever lived, yet he lived within clear boundaries. He said no when Satan tried to tempt him to do wrong. He said no to the crowd's demands to make him their king, and ultimately, he said no to his own desire to avoid the cross. He understood that real freedom isn't the absence of boundaries, it's operating within the right boundaries. A river is most powerful and useful when it flows between its banks. If it overflows those banks, you don't get more river. You get a dangerous, out-of-control situation in which valuable property, even precious human lives, may be lost. But how is Jesus' way of living freely expressed in today's world? Consider marriage, for example. The world says being committed to one person restricts your freedom to explore other relationships. But married couples who have been faithfully married for decades will tell you something different. They will say that the security of a loving, mutual, covenant relationship actually creates the deepest freedom, which allows both spouses to be honest and vulnerable with each other. Also, it enables them to grow closer to God and to each other. Such a marriage relationship does not become a form of bondage to each other, but it provides a loving, safe environment in which each spouse can become the ultimate person that God means for him or her to become. And what about the area of finances? The world says you're free when you can buy anything you want. The people who wisely learn to live within their means, save consistently, and give generously experience a satisfying, stable financial freedom that those who are drowning in debt will never know. You see, true freedom isn't about having unlimited options. It's about choosing the right master. As Jesus said in John 8, verse 36, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. He wasn't talking about political liberties or personal rights. He meant freedom from the grip of sin, freedom from the weight of a guilty conscience, and freedom from the endless cycle of chasing after satisfaction in things that don't last. The beautiful irony is this: when we surrender our lives to Christ, we don't lose our freedom. We finally find it. We discover what we were actually created for, and in that discovery, we become truly, permanently, and joyfully free. Imagine someone eating a plate full of candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It may be fun for a little while, but there will be pain and regret later. But God's freedom is the nourishing feast you didn't know you craved. It's not about, I answer to no one, but I'm loved by the one who made me. True freedom isn't found in rebellion. It's found in redemption. Freedom in Christ is not having the right to sin. It's having the power not to sin and receiving the grace we need to stand up when we do fall. It's the ability to live without fear of judgment, the ability to love deeply, and the ability to walk boldly in truth. So here's the question. Do you want to merely exist in a state of being in which you think that you are free, but the walls keep closing in on you? Or will you wisely choose the one where the door is wide open and the Father is saying, come home? So yes, God's freedom might look different, and yes, it requires letting go. But what we gain is far greater than what we lose. Because when we're free in Christ, we're finally free indeed. And that's a wonderful truth that changes everything for the better. Until next time, friends, never stop loving, living, and learning. May God richly bless you all.
May you walk in God's wisdom and live well